The best day of my entire life was a tremendously dreadful day. It was a Monday, as all bad days are. That singular morning, I ran out of toothpaste, my coffee machine stopped working, and all the cereal we had left was shredded wheat. By the time I got to school, late, I realized I had an assignment due by 9 p.m. instead of 11:59, and a trigonometry test the following day. When school finally came to a halt, I was a 79-year-old bedridden old man in a 16-year-old body. It was truly the kind of day that provides irrefutable evidence that the universe is a raging sadist. However, it was also a day where I came to a belief. As I rode away from school on the 403, feeling overwhelmed, anxious, and exhausted about all my responsibilities and all the expectations I had to fulfill, a very large red transport truck emerged at our tail to the right of our lane with a very questionably secured container, wobbling a little too much. The red truck sped on without a care in the world, and as my mother's red Subaru became engulfed in the shadow of the truck, the wobbles of the container became slightly stronger and stronger and stronger until it almost certainly looked like it was going to fall on us. And as I thought, so this is it. The container readjusted itself and the truck went on its merry way. After we very quickly got off the 403, I began to think, what would happen if I had died? Sure, some people might be sad, I hope. But the world would go on. And in that moment, a little realization emerged. One day, I'll be dead from natural causes or red trucks. And nothing would matter anymore. It might seem a little or very emo, but the sheer relief I felt from that simple realization was the equivalent of, as our head prefect Madhav would say, 10,000 hugs. My lungs felt like they could finally breathe again, and the 79-year-old within me jumped out of bed and began to dance. I know without a doubt that everybody sitting in this chapel is a fantastically unique person. But in the grand scheme of things, what are we but just chunks of meat hurtling through space on a rock? Insignificant, futile, meaningless. However, it is because nothing matters that everything does. It is because life is worthless that it is crucial for you to find meaning in all that you do. It is because life is pointless that it is so important for you to live for yourself and for your own happiness. Good afternoon. My name is Sterling, and on this beautiful day, I want to speak to you on the topic of optimistic nihilism, a way of life that's helped me create meaning and joy out of an ultimately worthless existence. Let me expand first upon this idea of optimistic nihilism and allow me to begin by painting a picture. The average life expectancy in Canada is just around 83 years old, which means if you're 16 or 17, you have just over 3,400 weeks left, which might seem like a lot, but is it? If we take the history of the Earth and condense it into 24 hours, modern humans have only been around for 1 second, which means that we've only been around for 0.0000001 seconds. We're not only incredibly insignificant in time, but in size as well. I'm sure we can agree that we all live on Earth, and everything and everyone that we love is located on this planet. The Earth has a diameter of 12,742 kilometers at the equator, and if we take a picture of the solar system that is accurate to scale, we are the equivalent of a 0.12 pale-sized blue dot. What's more, this solar system is about 160 million times smaller than our Milky Way galaxy, which is just one of potentially trillions in our observable universe, which may be infinitely smaller than the whole universe. So ladies, if you think 6 feet is tall, you're gravely mistaken. when we take a step back to look at just how small we are in the grand scheme of things, our utter insignificance, our utter irrelevance, our utter inconsequentiality become clear. In this indifferent and unstopping universe, all of our hopes, dreams, fears, regrets don't matter. And even if there is some part of us that we can't see or measure, a soul, we have absolutely no way of truly finding out when we're alive. And once we're dead, we might very well be just dead. And the universe will continue to carry on unaffected and without a care in the world, just like it always has and always will. And I say, so what? Because if life truly has no meaning, it becomes the only reason we should live. Because there is no cosmic purpose for our existence, we can decide for ourselves our own purpose, how we want to live, our path. Because if nothing matters, it doesn't mean nothing matters. I think a scene from the movie Free Guy says it best. For those of you who don't know, the movie is centered around an NPC in a video game who discovers that he actually isn't real. In one scene, Guy, Ryan Reynolds, is having trouble coming to terms with the fact that he isn't real, and he sits down to talk with his best friend, Buddy, an NPC police officer. Guy says to Buddy, if you're not real, doesn't that mean that nothing you do matters? Buddy responds with one of my favorite lines in movie history. What does that mean? Look, brother, I'm sitting here with my best friend trying to help him get through a tough time, right? And even if I'm not real, this moment is. Right here, right now, this moment is real. I mean, what's more real than a person trying to help someone they love? Now, if that's not real, I don't know what is. Similarly, even if it's true that we do not matter objectively, subjectively, this moment right now and our 3,400 weeks left to go does matter. Even if it's true to say that our hopes, dreams, fears, and regrets don't matter, it's equally just as true to simply say that our fears and regrets don't matter. Even if it's true to say that our existence doesn't have any inherent meaning, the function of a human is to live, not exist. So why don't we live to our absolute fullest? Live to lift other people up. Live to be completely yourself. Live to your absolute happiest and live like every second counts, even though it doesn't. In my own life, after learning about my insignificance, it's taken some adjusting of my mindset to get to where I am today. The first mindset, a completely wild, nothing matters, I'll do whatever I want. I indulged in instant gratification, watched YouTube and shows for hours, stayed up on my phone, skimped on studying. Everything was done far too much. And after my dopamine rampage, I felt much more miserable than I started. The second, a tamer, nothing matters. I'll do the things that make me truly happy, which I found came largely from the people around me. The idea that everything is not about me gave me the conviction to try to at least make the burden of the lives of others easier. Life is so unfair so often, and it can often feel like the world is playing the cruelest joke directed specifically at yourself. Pain, guilt, stress, self-doubt, heartbreak, disappointment. It's often unmercifully unavoidable. And if I can try to at least make the lives of others better, then I know then I can die a happy guy. Indeed, in our limited time on our planet, if we all try to let go of our insignificant differences to take care of a fellow human being, try to make them feel like they're the most special person in the world, I think we'd all be a bit happier. So to the students listening, please remember, those things that we're constantly stressing about as Appleby students, tests, essays, assignments, uni apps, applications, in the long run, it doesn't matter. But instead of interpreting it completely nihilistically and give up, why not look at it more optimistically? Why not strive towards success even if it doesn't matter? Why not endeavor to crush that test, ace that essay, and get into the university of your dreams and accept those temporary periods of challenge and struggle so that in the end, your happiness and fulfillment become that much sweeter? And if it ends up not working out in the end, oh well, doesn't matter. Beyond just Applebee, we're often pressured to do so many things, from getting a certain type of job, living in a certain area, or developing specific types of relationships. All too often, we end up complying to make others happy or to fit in at the expense of our own invaluable happiness. How you want to live is completely up to your control. So why would you ever play it on somebody else's terms? And finally, to everybody, those things in which you have no control over, others people's actions, their feelings towards you, the past, ask yourself, will it matter to me on my deathbed? Too often we get caught up in things we can't do anything about and ultimately don't really matter. And as a good friend of mine, Josh, likes to say, why be sad when you can be happy? While his advice is rather hurtful and often unhelpful during times of woe, there is some truth to it. There is simply so much for us to do in our momentary blip of consciousness. Friends to make, memories to share, food to taste, music to enjoy, sports to play, weights to demolish, sunrises and sunsets to watch. There's so much out there that we can enjoy in our 3,400 weeks that it seems absolutely absurd for us to let all those stresses of life consume us. So, to summarize, life is meaningless whether we like it or not. We will be forgotten after we're gone, and our life will most likely surmount to nothing in the big picture. However, you have two ways of looking at it. Nothing really matters, or nothing really matters. Let's rejoice in the fact that we even have a life to live. In this vastly uncaring universe, our lives are the rarest of rare matter. It's rarer than diamonds, double rainbows, or Mr. Hay giving me a good mark in accounting. And we should do everything, absolutely everything in our power to make our lives meaningful, because it's the only one we get to live. Thank you, and please rise to loudly sing hymn number 135.